There's like a lot of people haven't upped their rent in a long time. So now they're saying, well, interest rates are going up. I'm scared. But it's like, well, if you haven't had a rent review in 3 or 4 years, then what are you doing? Like,
So recently when I've picked up files and I've had to review their rents, because they've been long-term tenants over, 2-3 years, they haven't given them not one rent increase.
oh,
And when you go back to them and question, how come they've stayed on, this rent amount for so long? They're like, oh, no one's thought to review it or call us about it. They just asked if they want us to renew the lease. So now they're behind market, minimum $100 a week. How do you
wow.
go and give a long-term tenant a $100 rent increase? And you can only give one increase in 12 months. So for me to give a long-term tenant that's been there for 5 years, here's $100 because you haven't had a $100 rent increase because you haven't had one for, 4 or 5 years, that's like a slap in the face. They turn around and say, well, I've been a good tenant, that's why my rent hasn't been increased. But I'm sorry, you're behind already $100. Imagine in 2 years' time if it goes up again. Landlords now are trying to catch up with the market and trying to issue all these rent increases. If you did that regularly every year by $5 or $10, it's better than hitting a tenant with a $100 rent increase.